Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to be here and to be sharing with you some tools and tips and tricks on NotebookLM and really towards marketing and what that looks like in using the tools that are there for marketing. So, what I'm going to do is just go over like 10 quick tips and tricks on how you can use NotebookLM in your work, business, community, whatever. The first tool that I'm going to show you is how to use NotebookLM when you're researching a topic. And what I'm going to do is just show you some of the different notebooks that I've created and just some tips and tricks. So I'll share my screen here. And this first notebook that I put together is on building a school community. So this is a topic that I'm researching and I wanted to just get some information about. And so one of the cool things is that you can add sources here at the top. So if you've never used NotebookLM before, basically it's thinking of an old school notebook where you're putting in a bunch of topics and then you're going to be able to do a ton of different things with that particular topic. What's nice about it, it's different from just a ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, because you are giving it the information that you want it to pull from. So in this first example, I really just wanted to get some more information about how to build a school community. And so I clicked add sources here and I'll just add some things. So I want to learn about gamifying a school community. And then when I do that, it's going to pull in different websites over here. Now I can decide if I don't want to add those websites that it comes up with. Let's say something is not that relevant, then I can just, uncheck it. I can also delete it here. So you can say remove source. And then once those sources are here, in this middle part, you can chat with all of the resources and ask questions and get information. Now, one of the things that I really like is the feature that it will create an audio overview. So let's say, for example, this was a topic that I wanted to share with others, or maybe for me, in this case, I want to really actually learn about it. And so what I can do, I like to listen to podcasts a lot when I'm walking. So there's this thing called audio overview. So I'm actually going to click the pencil icon. And in here, you can decide which kind of overview you want. So they have a deep dive, a brief, a critique, a debate, or you can say, I want you to really highlight, I'll say building a school community from the beginning. And so now it's really going to focus from all of those resources, how to start a school community from the beginning. Now, this particular audio overview does take a little time to, populate. There's also something called video overview. So I can do the same thing. What I love about this is you can select which kind of graphic, the visual style that you want. I really like this papercraft one. And so now what I can do is for this one, I'm going to say, tell me how I can gamify my school community. And then I'll click generate. And again, those take a little bit of time, to put in there so I can come back to it. Now, if you want to be really fancy, something cool is that you can take the audio overview and then you can actually pull that into the script and put an icon or any of so like you're grabbing the audio file and you can put it with a graphic that you design and have the little podcast, or you could put it on YouTube, anywhere that you want to share that particular collection. So we'll come back to that, but that's just one way you can use new learning. Another thing that I like to do, and this is a notebook that I created, honestly, to teach this course. So I was like, I'm going to gather sources for workflows for coaches and creators and learn about how people are utilizing NotebookLM for social media. And what I did was then created over here some really cool things. One of the things that I love is the blog post. Now, I kind of put some of these together for us so that it didn't waste our time like looking at them or creating them. But this one here, I noticed today when you click these little dots, you can say view custom prompt. How I did this in the first place was I went to reports and I selected blog post. Now to replicate this for you, I'm going to show you it actually has the original prompt that I used. So I can say view custom prompt. And it actually put this together for me. But I highlighted the 10 things that I had found that were best. And the way I did that was in the middle, I said, give me 10 specific strategies for using Notebook as a creator. And so when it comes up with those, you can actually take the notes that it comes up with in this chat here and then save it as a note over here. So anytime you're having a chat and you're like, ooh, I don't want to lose that. That's really good. You can save it as a note. So here we go. Here are 10 specific strategies for creators to use NotebookLM. And it gives me these 10 ideas. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and click Save to Note. And then right here, it generated the note. Hey, Mary, welcome. So now I have this note, which is awesome. I can also turn that note into a source. So right here, I'll click this little arrow and say convert to source. Now, what's helpful about that is, let's say I want to create my blog post. So you can see right here, it added that 10 strategic workflows there. So I can uncheck all of these and only check that 10 strategic workflows there. And now I go to reports again, and I can say create a blog post. It will also give you other ideas of things that you might want to create. So maybe I'm going to make a guide. So we'll do blog post. So it gives like the prompt, and then I'll say it already knows to only pull those 10 strategic workflows. So then I'll click create. And now what's amazing about this is I can literally copy and paste that, put it onto my blog, add a few details, and I'm done. So I don't have to start from total scratch. The ideas have already been curated from the specific content. I'm going to show you also, here is a video that was created. And let's see how it turned out. So supercharge your strategy. And of course, it's not going to play because I have my microphone plugged in. But what I like about this is there's multiple things that you can do. The graphics are simply amazing. So sometimes I might even go through and just say, that's an awesome graphic. So then you could screenshot that. Maybe you don't even want that NotebookLM thing there. And then you screenshot that. And now you can simply put this on your page and you've got a quick social media post. For me, I have decided I'm trying to focus my content in like weekly themes. So this whole week I'm focused on NotebookLM and how it helps people. So these are some different tools that I can use to create content around the same topic, which I just love that. You could also use these if you're doing like creating a course. So let's say you wanted to have a little video, you wanted to have an explanation there. These are all ways to just quickly create that content. And then all you have to do is click download, and then you've got an awesome video that's created. Same thing with the audio. If you are learning a new nugget right now, if you would type one idea that's been sparked in the chat on a way that you could use some of these tools. And that way we can also be learning from each other. If you're joining just now, if you drop show notes, I'm going to be sending all of these notes to everyone. So feel free to drop that word as well. And I'll be sure to send those to you. Another way that I've used this was with one of my clients that I work with closely, and she just created an app and she is working on social media around travel and what that looks like for a solo traveler. And so we simply typed in as a source, solo travel safety. That was it. Those were the words that I typed in, solo travel safety. And then it pulled in all of these resources that were very helpful. And one of the things that I love about this is the graphics that it created. And it was seriously so amazing. So think about your pillars. What are you focused on sharing content about for the week? And for her, we created a slide deck and literally blown away. So the slide deck is similar to a PowerPoint presentation or Google Slide. And so check this out. I mean, seriously amazing. You might be saying, well, what do I do? She's not necessarily presenting anything to anyone, but she could do a couple of things. She could download these slides and then narrate behind it and make a little video. Or honestly, these graphics are so incredible that she could use them to literally post on social media. They're so good. For these, we actually said use actual pictures of people, right? And, it's pulling quotes, like this particular one was like the solo traveler's handbook, but the freedom of answering only to yourself, practical perks, personal discoveries. There are just, it's like phenomenal. Like these are so flippin' good, right? And they're graphics that are very just, and if you want it, so like this one, let's say has a lot of words, you can tell it when you're creating it, only use images and text. This one, I was like, oh my gosh, look at how cool this is. I mean, these could just be taken straight from here and create your social media content. This could be the image, and then you just had the 5 reasons why in your social posts. Like it is so good. I mean, game changer. Those are beautiful. Okay. And all we did was we thought of one thing her audience is thinking about. So for her, it was solo travel safety, and we put that there. So think about the questions that your audience is wondering. I know a lot of us have been doing videos that we've been thinking about, what does our audience want to know about? So you create a notebook, gather, source materials, and then you've got these amazing images, right? Okay. Another thing that I did, which I really loved, was that I had a call with a potential client, and he was sharing with me kind of like his story and what things that he was working on, and then like his potential pain points, like things that were a struggle for him. So what I did is I literally went to Fathom and I used this as my note taker. Then what I did is when I have a call with someone, I can go into the transcript. Here's the transcript. And I just click copy transcript. I literally copied the transcript and then I placed it over on Notebook as a source. So when you click add source, there's a thing that says copied text, and you literally can paste the text of your transcript. This is very helpful if you want to go back and say, what did we talk about? But for this particular example, what I did was the first question I put in here was, what are the pain points of this particular client? Then from the pain points, I said, design a, list of ways that I could support them and come up with an 8-week coaching plan. And so it did that. That was pretty awesome. Great ideas. And then I was like, okay, I'm meeting with this client in a couple of days. So now I want to be able to talk to him about the things that I could suggest for my proposal. So it created, again, with slides, all of the different things that we could work on. And I actually like this one even better. So it was like, okay, right now you're the hub for everything. Week 1, here's what we could do. Week 2, here's what we could do. And so you could create a very nice proposal for people who, are prospective clients, and you want to collect some resources for them and put together a proposal that looks really beautiful. Another thing you could do, which I haven't done this yet, but if you have testimonials or feedback, you could create a notebook that has all of those transcripts, clippings, whatever, and be able to say, what are my clients most thankful for? You could also ask, like, looking at the transcript, this is a fun one, looking at the transcript, help me to create a training guide so I can improve my, I don't know, I'll call it closing conversation. And let's see what it comes up with. So there's just so many ways that you can use the data that you've already collected and make it meaningful and helpful for you. You could also use ChatGPT for those things, but I like this because it's really going to be something that then I can save. And so there we go. So it says, okay, here's how you can come back and talk with them. Okay. Before I go on, I'm going to ask if any of you would be interested in being a part of a community where we learn about these things and share our resources. And I'm really looking to develop a group on school that is going to help look at ways we can amplify our business. And NotebookLM is just one of them, but there's so many tools, so many resources. And I'm really excited about thinking about how we can amplify our business. So if you're interested, type the word amplify and I will share some more information. It's going to be coming soon. You know me, I come up with an idea and I'm like, let's run with it. But I have found so much value in brainstorming and talking with other creators and entrepreneurs that I was like, I think this would be so much fun. So if you're interested in that, type the word amplify in the chat and I'll make sure to get you some information about it. Also, thinking about those examples that I just shared. What's one way that you're like, I'm going to take this and I'm going to do it today? Thinking about implementation plans, slide decks. What's that look like for you? One of the things that I love is also thinking about creating lead magnets. I think in our world where everything's happening so quickly, like we can crank out a lead magnet so easily by looking at our content. So I'm going to show you one of the people that I've been working with, and I'm going to share with you this notebook. This is really cool. So this particular person has a lot of content already created, a lot of courses, PDFs, different things like that. So what I did is I added, which in sources, you can upload things like different files. So if you want to put, PDFs, whatever, you can add those there. So he had a whole course, the self-love course, and it has all of these different PDFs, right? And then what I did is I said, okay, let's create a video overview of that. So here now it's almost like taking like the old content that was created and reviving it a little. And so now I created a video that he could use, which is right here. Then I clicked, which I love this, is I clicked report. Okay. And I went in and I said, okay, make an explanatory article. And I think that was one of the choices. It was one when I first clicked on it. And so right here, it created this explanatory article. Well, this is not going to be that exciting because it's got a lot of text, right? But what I'm going to do is copy this text and then merge it with some of the images that I could create with a slide deck, and then have a visual that I might create over on Canva. And now that's my lead magnet and it's done in less than 10 minutes, right? I also wanted to create some infographics and I want to show you the difference. So when you click infographic, it's going to be just like one static image. So I click the pencil icon and then right here, it'll let you describe with colors or what you want it to focus on so that you can really tailor it to get it as close to possible as you want. And I'm going to show you the difference when I prompt in a certain way. So for this one, I just said, create an infographic that highlights these key concepts. And here's what it came back with. Now, for me personally, I am not a fan of these pastel colors or, how that looks. That's just not my style. So what I did then is I gave it a different prompt and said, use real people. Now, again, I don't know that I love this. So I'm not quite sure that I'm still married to that, but I'll show you the difference in the prompts. So this one, I said, create a vibrant infographic using real photos and less text. So it's just a little bit about playing around with it, to get the concept or idea that you want. And the same with the slide deck. You can say, use these colors or whatever your brand colors are to make sure that it really gives you, the feedback like what you're looking for. Another one that I really love is then being able to create a framework for your own business. Okay. So literally, again, I used the word scrappy the other day. Like I am all about just get it done. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. Get it shipped. So this morning I was like, okay, I'm going to brainstorm something I'm going to call the amplify system. Okay. And I worked in ChatGPT back and forth, had a conversation, and I came up with my frameworks. Now I literally went in here and as a source, it's the only source that's in here, I added the conversation that I had. Okay. So I did add source and I said copy text and I just pasted that text right there. And so here's what it looks like. It has the steps of what it means to amplify your business. I know in Molly, a lot of you are in Molly's group, like we talk about our frameworks. So those are my frameworks and they're pasted there. And then what I did is I came over here and I said, okay, now what I want you to do is create an infographic that highlights, let's see the prompt that I use. All I said was use these colors and symbols, create a winding path. These are the colors and the symbols. And then here's what it came back with. And again, it's not bad, but I was like, for my eyes, it's too many colors and I don't really love it. So I just did another one and I changed the prompt just ever so slightly to say, make the background black. And I actually love what it came up with. Now, this might not be my final one, but it's pretty darn good. All right, now I'm going to be brave and I'm just going to show you an experiment. So what I'm going to do is download this and I'm going to come into Google Gemini. And Miss Marie is here. She shared this tip in a group today, and I haven't really even had time to explore it. But when you're in Gemini, if you click the plus sign, you could actually add your whole notebook. So I could add wherever that notebook is. put that in there. I'm not quite sure, but you might even add some resources in about how you're using that. But what I'm going to do is upload the image file that I just created. So let me grab that. So here we go. And you can tell it, I may need to switch accounts actually. Give me 1 second here. Come on. So we'll upload the file again. And I'm going to say animate this image. That's all I'm going to say. And what it will do is give everything just a little bit of movement because again, we're just trying to capture our audience in any way that's possible. The static image is great, but the video will kind of give things a little movement. I could also be more specific and say, animate it with a sparkle or animate it with, whatever I want to add there. Okay, so while I'm checking in, I'm going to add a check-in on the comments and see if anyone has any questions. It's really hard for me to read the comments, so I don't know how to do that. So sorry, I will work on that for next time. So really, you can add any details about your business. So I know a lot of us have company details, a document that has our company details. I could add that in to my notebook as a source, right? So I'll go to upload files from my desktop. This is one of the things that I think is just an absolute game changer is it has all of my details about my business. And so now, again, if I want to create a slide deck or whatever, you can see. So now look at this. So this is on Amplify when I only used that. And what I did was I created a slide deck here. And let me see the prompt that I've used. Create a slide deck highlighting these key points. Keep it fun, playful, and add photos of entrepreneurs. And then look how awesome this is. So again, these are all images that I can use as social media posts. I mean, what? That is a game changer, right? Creating momentum, take weekly action, amplify your results. And the little quotes like, this is crazy. Now, another trick that I learned, which I think is pretty cool. So let's download this. We're going to download this whole presentation. And then I'm going to go over to Canva. This is like a bonus tip for you. I'm going to come over to Canva and I'm just going to create a new presentation. Just do a blank one. And then upload that presentation that it created right here. So we'll say upload, upload and download, right? Back and forth. Downloads. And it looks like it's a PDF, but I think it brings it in okay. We'll see. And what to do is actually edit that presentation. So let's say I don't like the text that it's in there, then I can change it. Okay. So now I have this beautiful presentation because I know, even if you're thinking about, doing presentations for your clients or on lives or whatever, and maybe let's pretend that I want to put, you know, maybe I want my own image to be here. So you can actually go into where you click edit here and you can grab this icon, let's say, or the whole picture even. And then I could say trash, and it should remove that whole picture. And then I'm able to add my own. Now, it only grabs some of it, but I think what's also nice is that you could grab text. So, like, sometimes you'll notice you definitely have to read what it says because there may be errors. It's gotten 1000% better, but sometimes it's not super great. So, again, on this edit here, there's a grab text feature. So I can click. It's a little bit slow, so sorry. And I'm not being very patient. So it does this little thing, and then it's looking for all of the text, and then I'm able to select it and actually change it or delete it. Like, some of the images might have too much text on them, and you can just completely select it and then remove it. So I'm gonna just stop because it's kind of going crazy for now, but that is the idea. And then each of these can be, downloaded. You could also change the size. So maybe I want to resize this and make it, for Facebook optimized. So lots of different cool ways to use NotebookLM.